blockbuster report from a Dutch newspaper has caught the attention of a lot of Van Halen fans after it claimed that a new record from Van Halen could be on the way, featuring archive material from the late icon Eddie Van Halen. Their source? None other than Alex Van Halen, and he also said he had been working with Toto's Steve Lukather on this record. Now, there was a lot of buzz after that statement, and the newspaper actually went to Steve Lukather from Toto as well, who had a very interesting response. Now, after this, a lot of people took this to mean that Steve Lukather could actually be playing guitar on the record. He has a very interesting statement that's just come in. Here's what we know about this exciting Van Halen news. It's a blockbuster story from the largest daily Dutch newspaper, De Telegraaf, that revealed that Alex Van Halen had been sifting through archive material from his beloved brother, Eddie Van Halen. And from the sounds of it, there's a lot of material to go through. So much so, they might be able to put together an album in his memory. To add even more excitement, this isn't the first time that Alex Van Halen has talked about this. He also opened up in a previous interview about potentially putting out a lot of this archive material. And he's already done it once. Late last year, a song called Unfinished, which is said to be the final song that Eddie and Alex wrote together, surfaced online. The Unfinished song is an instrumental that features Eddie Van Halen shredding on guitar for 6 minutes. And it was in that conversation with De Telegraaf that Alex Van Halen was asked about this potential Van Halen record, and he spoke about the involvement of Toto Steve Lukather, to which he said, "Ed and Steve were very good friends, and they often worked together. There is no one who can do this process with me as well as he can." That same publication went to Steve Lukather and asked him about it, telling him what Alex had to say, to which he responded, "Did Alex say that? Oh, in that case, the news is true. Ed, Alex, and I were very close for years. It is true that we worked on it together." And after staying silent for years, Alex Van Halen has been speaking out about his beloved brother, releasing that autobiographical book, Brothers, which tells the story of their life and their career in music together. Now, this entire situation sounds really interesting because this isn't the first time that Alex has discussed this potential record. Last year, he raised eyebrows when he revealed he had been in contact with OpenAI, who developed ChatGPT, about potentially creating, using generative AI, solos based on past work from Eddie Van Halen, and this is something that, of course, is extremely controversial in music. He was in a conversation with Rolling Stone last year when he said he spoke to OpenAI about analyzing, quote, the patterns of how Edward would have played something. The goal is to generate new guitar riffs based on that past material, and you can see how that understandably would be controversial, and he even then seemingly confirmed that this project was underway. Many people wondered, how could David Lee Roth be on the record considering he and Alex had a major falling out? But as it turns out, Alex Van Halen didn't even have David Lee Roth in mind. Instead, he told Rolling Stone he had a legendary rock vocalist in mind for the project. He said, "Ideally, it'd be Robert Plant. You're going to think I'm out of my mind, but when the conditions are right, things will manifest." Now, it'll be interesting to see how the AI-generated music works out. I don't know that that's something that's going to be popular with the fans, but the good news is there is a lot of archive material with Eddie Van Halen, and when it was revealed that Steve Lukather was involved in this process, as he confirmed, there were people who misconstrued this to mean that he was actually going to be playing on this record. And he has released a new statement that's very interesting that has a lot of people thinking, hey, this sounds pretty likely that this could be happening. Here's what he had to say about his involvement in this exciting project. Steve took to social media to set the record straight about the situation, saying, "For the record, ever since Alex Van Halen dropped some 'we were gonna work together,' I think there is a huge misunderstanding. I will not ever play a guitar note on a Van Halen song ever. Al asked me to help him go through a ton of unfinished recordings of Al and Ed writing and recording that never saw the light of day. As of now, that's all I got. The fact that anyone would think for a second that I would play anything on this is ridiculous. I have too much love and respect for that band, and I play nothing like Ed. More as a co-producer or something. I am honored Al would ask me, though. Let's see." Now, if this project ends up seeing the light of day, I think then you're going to see the real possibility for some actual Eddie Van Halen tribute shows. They want to play this new material. Who knows? I think it's more possible. Obviously, the involvement of David Lee Roth right now is extremely unlikely. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Would you want to hear an album of archive material What do you think about the AI stuff as well? Personally, I'm not a big fan of that. Let me know, and as always, be sure to subscribe with notifications on for the latest news and updates.